What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466 Cards, and today I am going to talk about this Wayne Gretzky card from the 1980s and why it is rare and special. So, if you go on eBay and you look up this card, it's called the 1981 Red Rooster Gretzky. You'll see that there are many hits. You can see 59, so not too many, but enough. You can see here that there was a few, but you'll notice that there's two different variations. There's this one where he looks like Wayne Gretzky, and then there's this one where he's a little bit more disheveled, I think is the safest way to put it. And you can see here, there's quite a few here on eBay. But if you type in a magical word, put in long hair, you'll see the number dwindles down to 9. And so you can see here, they all look the same. And so what's the story? You can see here there's a panel of 4 of them together because I believe they were part of a cut sheet or perforated. So what's the story here? Well, there's an article on cbc.ca, which is a Canadian website, that talks about these long lost hockey cards featuring his mullet. Now, first of all, I don't think this is a mullet. This is not a mullet. All right, Jaromir Jagr had a mullet. This is not a mullet, but he is quite unkept, shall we say? So these were printed for a company called Red Rooster, which is a convenience store. Side note, it's really funny. I looked them up online. They got bought out by this company called Couche-Tard, and it's funny to me that this like fancy sounding company called Couche-Tard bought a bunch of Red Roosters in Alberta, which is the most Alberta thing ever. Anyways, going back to this. When you scroll down and read this, basically this guy who worked for Red Rooster said that a request came back from Wayne Gretzky, could we change the cards, because he went and got himself a haircut to take a new picture. And so Gretzky asked that the ones with the long hair be destroyed, but he kept a few, as did a few other people. And as a result, that's why this unkept Gretzky, this long-haired Gretzky card is so rare, is that they were destroyed at the request of Gretzky because he didn't like the way he looked. Very similar to some of the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle story, right? Like, obviously not quite the same in terms of knowledge with the hobby, which is why I found this quite interesting. And so if you go to the PSA pop count and you go down to the Gretzkys, you can see there's the long-haired version and then the short-haired versions around here. You can see the long-haired version, there's like 2 PSA 10s, like none, basically all the way through. And total graded, it's about 30. Whereas for one of these short-haired, it's got 200, right? And then some of the other short-haired versions in the same number. But you can see, again, no real PSA 10s exist for the long-haired version. So I just thought this was a fun little story about how Gretzky didn't like the way he looked, and as a result, asked for them to all be returned, and that's why this beauty is a bit of a collectible. Fun side note to this story, I actually found out about this card and its story from my wedding officiant. When we were talking a couple months ago in the lead up to our wedding about what I did in my hobby, I explained to her my hobby, and she talked about this card that she had from a long time ago and the story behind it. So I Googled it and looked it up, and lo and behold, this was the card. So shout out to Lisa for telling me this story so I could share it with you guys. That's it. That's the video. Thank you as always for listening and watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.